Hey Jim, thank you for taking some time out of your day to join me today to go over your financial plan. So, today, the purpose of this meeting is to go over the recommendations that I have for you regarding your financial plan. Since we have such a short time frame, I'm only going to be going over the executive summary for today, but we will be going over the full plan later on, like next week sometime. So, before I begin, I wanted to just say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to help you on this journey of funding your financial goals and your retirement. And I just want to say that I really appreciate it, and to also say thank you for taking the time to put all of that information together. I know it can be a lot and it can be really overwhelming sometimes, but it made my job a lot easier that you were so detailed and meticulous with the information that you provided me, as well as with responding to all of my emails. So I really appreciate how proactive you've been about helping provide information for this plan. So as far as this plan, I want to start out by saying that this plan is it's prepared by me, but it is tailored specifically to your situation and where you are right now financially. And the way that I did it is I made recommendations based off of your specific goals and objectives and what you want in life and what you want for your finances. And so, and if there's anything in this plan that you're like, Mackenzie, there's no way, like I don't want to do that, or I don't really like that idea, then feel free to tell me, and we can go through and we can make recommendations or revisions to the whole entire plan, or just the little parts that really bother you. But for this meeting, we're just going to go over what I have so far, and then from there we can go in deeper and revise it to where it's something that you want, because this is for your future. So I guess let's get started. So basically, the purpose of this plan is to go over some of the information that you said you wanted advice on or recommendations, and some of those include your aging parents, college funding for Jimmy, Sophia, Ronnie, and Danny, your wedding, cars, and retirement, and then charitable cause for the Williams syndrome, and then insurance policies and estate issues, as well as investments. So to start off, we are going to start with the cash management portion. And so to begin with cash management, so Jim, you have a lot of excess cash reserves, which is great. It's excellent. So basically what I mean by excess cash reserves is you have a lot of cash on hand, which a lot of people don't typically have that. Just because they invest it and everything. But the good thing with you is that you have invested it, and so you have a lot of investment assets that are creating growth and everything, but you also have a lot of cash on hand in your checking and banking accounts. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because we are going to utilize your cash reserves that you have right now, and we're going to use that to fund a lot of your goals. And the reason for that is because we don't want to take money out of your investments, because they've already been accumulating growth and will continue to do so. And so by using your cash reserves, we're actually able to, we won't be backtracking when it comes to your investment growth, because we would just be taking it out and then putting it right back in whenever you got the money back. So for cash management, we recommend that you maintain $150,000 in your checking account. And that's based on what the information you gave me, that's typically where it is. And so that's good. We just want you to maintain that. And that will cover your emergency fund, if anything were to happen, and those sorts of things. As far as your savings account, we recommend that you have $100,000 in it and that you maintain that at a steady pace. And right now you currently have $425,000, which is awesome. And so going forward, we recommend the $100,000, and so we're going to use that excess for funding a lot of your goals, which I will go into a little bit later. But after I tell you about the recommendations, you will have a little bit of money left over in your savings and checkings accounts and your cash reserves. And so one of the recommendations when it comes to your cash management with the cash reserves is that we recommend that you begin to stagger 3 to 6 months certificate of deposits, which is what we call a CD, with $50,000 increments, utilizing the $250,000 that is left over in your excess reserves. Then we also recommend that you redirect $75,000 that's in of your savings account of the $425,000. That you redirect $75,000 of it to fund your wedding. So that takes care of your goal to get married in December. Totally. So next we have education funding. And I'm sorry I'm going kind of fast. There's a lot of information to cover, and I know you're really busy with training the team before football season starts. But if you need me to slow down at all, just let me know, or if you have any questions. But going forward, education funding. So you stated that you wanted to fund the education for Jimmy and Sophia, as well as Ronnie and Danny. So to make it a little bit easier to understand, we're going to start off with Sophia. So Sophia plans to go to Baylor University. It's like her goal. And based on our calculations, we estimated with the assumption that tuition escalation, inflation is 8%. And so with that in mind, our estimates came to be about, it would cost her $57,000, a little bit over $57,000 per year to attend Baylor. And so that put us at about $220,000-ish for her entire education. So in order to fund Sophia's, because it's coming up here pretty soon, she's going to be graduating high school, we recommend that with your excess cash reserves, you take $200,000 of it and put it towards her education. After that, there will be a shortage of $22,000. So in order to cover the last $22,000, we recommend that you take your Apple stock or your PGCOX stock. Those two assets have been highly appreciated, and you have a gain of about $90,000 on them. And so we recommend that you take one of them, you can choose either one, and then gift $22,000 of it to Sophia. So this is called gifting of an appreciated asset. And the reason for that is that it's actually super beneficial, because not only does it fund her college and give her a little bit extra wiggle room just in case it gets a little bit more expensive, but it takes it to where it is taxed at her tax rate, not yours. So it's a really tax efficient way, and it kind of helps with your overall estate as well. And so that is how we plan on funding Sophia's education. So Jimmy plans to go to Iowa University for his program, and our assumptions are based off the fact that he is only going to be there 2 years, and that he will go 2 years after he graduates. And of course, this is just an estimate, so if it changes in the future, we can go back and revise it. So with that in mind, it ended up costing around $88,000, $89,000 for both years. And so to fund his goal, we recommend that you take $90,000 of your cash reserves and you earmark it for his college funding as well. So that one is pretty simple. Okay, so Danny and Ronnie. When we had our discussions, you mentioned that you wanted to know about a 529 plan and that you wanted to do a lump sum payment. The reason why we didn't do it for Sophia or Jimmy is because a 529 has interest that accumulates, and so the money grows and it's tax deferred. You're not charged that for your taxes, which is the benefit of it. But we don't recommend using a 529 for Sophia and Jimmy because it doesn't have the time to accumulate growth. And so it doesn't have the same benefits as it would for, say, Ronnie and Danny. So for Ronnie and Danny, we do recommend that we take the 529 approach. And although you said you would like to do a lump sum payment, we recommend that we change that into monthly payments, just because it puts less of a burden on your cash reserves, and you have so much monthly income that it's just like a minor hit rather than paying the whole lump sum. So for Danny, we calculated out that with a 529 plan, you would just make $1,050. You pay that per month up until the point he goes to college. And at that point, he will be fully funded for not only for a public university, which is what you said that he might be going to, but if he chose to go to a private university, then he would be able to go to that as well, because the estimates are based off of Ronnie and Danny going to a private university. So it kind of gives y'all leeway and options. And as far as Ronnie, it's the same situation. We recommend the 529 plan. Since he's going a little bit later, and since inflation and cost escalation, his monthly payments to the 529 plan would be $1,820. So roughly around $3,000 a month that you would put into the 529 plan, and it would cover all of their costs for college. And if you did that all the way up until the point that they graduated and were about to go, then it would be covered. And 529s are really cool because they are, there's a lot of tax benefits to it. So you put money into it at after tax after-tax dollars, but it stays there and you're not taxed on that for your like income and whatnot. So they're really beneficial in that aspect. And then you can use that for room, board, books, pretty much anything that has to do with education. They are pretty strict on it, so keep your receipts. But they're great, and they're a great college funding plan strategy. All right, next is risk management and insurance. So you mentioned a lot that you wanted to know about life insurance. So we do highly recommend that you do get life insurance. And we ran a couple quotes that go into more detail later on in the plan. But we recommend 2 life insurance policies. The first is we recommend an index universal life policy of $1 million. So the annual premium on these will be $16,000. And you can fund that with your excess cash reserves because you have quite a bit of it. You have quite a bit of inflow coming in, and so it wouldn't take a big hit to that. So the reason we chose $1 million because we want to pay off all of your current liabilities. And right now, based off the balance sheet that is provided on the pages before, you have about $2 million in liabilities. And whenever, in the event that you pass away, we don't want to leave those liabilities for your family to take care of. And so that's the point of life insurance, and that's why we recommend it, is because it gives your family and you assurance and peace of mind, knowing that your family is taken care of whenever you end up passing away. So that's the first one. The second one is a $1 million index variable universal policy. So this one, it is a premium of $25,500 per year. And the purpose with this is how it works is we recommend that you be the insured and the beneficiary for it will be an irrevocable life insurance trust with Williams syndrome. So basically, we know that you really care about Williams syndrome charity and you want to provide for it. And so this is just kind of something, and if you don't like it, we can take it out. But this is just something that we kind of did for you. And so basically what this is that with the irrevocable trust, in the event that you pass away, it will guarantee that for 3 years following your death, you will still be able to provide $360,000 per year to Williams syndrome charity. So it kind of allows for that assurance. The next one is home and auto insurance. So as far as your home and auto insurance, we reviewed it and analyzed it, and we think that it's very good based off your situation and your needs. So we actually recommend that you stay with that auto insurance. And as time goes on, if things change, then we can go back and review and revise that as well. Next is long-term care. So this is also something that you said you would like more education on. So as far as long-term care goes, we personally do not think that you need it. And the reason being is because you have so much excess cash flow coming in and your cash reserves that you are what we call self-insured. So at this point in time, if something were to happen and you need to go into long-term care, you have enough money saved up and you have enough money in your cash reserves that you can provide for yourself. And so that's why we don't really think it's the most beneficial thing to get long-term care insurance. But again, if your situation changes, then we can review and revise. But our recommendation for right now is that you don't really need it. All right, as far as investments go. So currently your 403 plan with Florida State, we recommend that you roll that over into a Roth IRA account. And IRA is an individual retirement account. And the reason being is because while you've made a lot of money and a lot of growth in your 403 with Florida State is the only one that controls it, and they choose everything. They choose your asset allocation. They choose pretty much everything. And so if you rolled it over into a Roth IRA, first of all, there wouldn't be any tax penalty. So there's nothing to worry about that. And also, it allows you to have flexibility and control over your own assets. And so that's why we recommend doing that. And then we also want to consider rebalancing your non-qualified investment account, which is your brokerage account. Currently, it doesn't really align with your risk tolerance score, so we want to go back and reallocate it to something that's more in line with your risk tolerance from the questionnaire that you filled out a couple weeks ago. Next, so as far as your assets, we recommend that you sell 100% of your Under Armour stock position. And this is going to create a capital loss of approximately $164,000. So with this, we will be able to use this to help offset future cap gains, or we could even be able to use it to take up a loss of $3,000 against your income. So that's just kind of a recommendation that we have for you regarding your assets and your specific stocks of like what to buy and sell. But we will go into more detail on that later on in the investment section. And okay, so this is going to backtrack a little bit. So recall in the beginning when we were talking about education, gifting highly appreciated assets. So this kind of revolves around that again. So you have a large amount of capital gain in your PGCOX account as well as your Apple stocks. And so what we recommend you do with that is that we recommend that you gifting highly appreciated assets. We recommend that we follow that strategy that we used with Sophia on all of your kids, except for the only difference is that Sophia is going to get $22,000 of it to help fund her school, and then each of the other kids is going to get $15,000 each. And so this would be gifting it to them, and so it has the same tax implications where it is it's taxed at their tax rate and not yours, and it also reduces your overall estate, which is really good and beneficial. So yes, Social Security. Your full retirement age is 67. We recommend that you wait until at least 67 years old to start withdrawing from your retirement or from your Social Security account. If you were to do that, the lifetime benefits would be approximately $956,000. And then with that in mind, we recommend that you consider withdrawing at age 70. And the reason for that is because the longer you wait, the more your benefits increase. So if you were to start withdrawing at age 70, your lifetime benefits would be a little over, it'd be $1,049,000, which is a huge difference. So that's just something that we recommend considering. As far as taxes, we recommend that for the year 2019, you file married filing jointly, since at that point in time you will be married to Courtney. And then lastly, we have the estate analysis. So to begin with, we recommend that you begin renting out your Colorado home. So the reason for this is that right now your Colorado home, it is a very good asset, it's worth a lot, and I understand you're trying to sell it, but it's just sitting there and you're not getting any wealth out of the asset. It's not being utilized for anything. So we recommend that you begin renting it, and we've calculated out and did a bunch of research. And so if you were to rent it and hire a management company such as Airbnb or a local one, management expenses cost about 20%. And so with all of our research, we calculated that your house would be about $400 a night with an average of 20 nights a month. So with that, it comes out to be around $98,000. And then if you subtract the expenses for management, that's about $76,800 more income coming into you. So it's more cash flow, and you're actually generating income from your asset. So that is why we recommend doing that. And then with the income that's coming in from renting the Colorado home, you can expedite your debt reduction on your Colorado home to in efforts to discharge all of the debt sooner. And then you can also redirect all of that money into your short-term goals if you want to. As far as the rest of the estate, we highly recommend that you revisit and update your living will. This is very, very important, and we recommend that you do it with Courtney there with you so that y'all's wills align with one another. And the reason for this is because if in the event of your death, if you don't have a will stating what you want everything to go to, like what you want your money to go to, then if there's any sort of issues, then a judge is going to end up deciding who all gets what. And I know that you have certain goals like providing for Jimmy for the rest of his life, things like that. And so that's why it's so important to have a will. We also want you to get to create a medical power of attorney, someone who can decide your medical wishes if you're incapacitated or unable to do so. And that is also a very important thing when it comes to estates. So yes, that seems to be everything. Again, I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to help you with your financial future and funding all of your goals. And if you have any questions or you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me or email me, call me, text me. I'm available. Yeah. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, Jim.